scores in. So our next presentation will be from Biomedical Engineering, and this will be by Vishnu Priya Murali, and he's going to speak on saving the smiles. So Vishnu, take it away.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. Sounds great.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Devi, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about our research efforts that can help save our smiles. So, just a second. So every one of us would have known someone or the other who have lost their teeth. Maybe it's our old grandparents, someone who got into a nasty fist fight, or someone who's not been taking care of their teeth very well. So whenever a tooth is lost from its socket and an implant is not placed immediately, the jawbone on which the teeth resides tends to dissolve away slowly. This is a natural phenomenon. However, when the dentists want to place an implant at a later time point, there is not enough bone to support it. For this, the dentist often fills the defect area with a bone graft material, cover it with a protective membrane, and let the defect heal. After a couple of weeks or months, once the bone has completely healed, the implant is placed with a tooth covering, thereby giving back the original appearance. Now, let us look at the membranes that were mentioned. These membranes play a very important role in protecting the newly grafted site from the surrounding gum tissue from growing inside them. So these membranes can be made up of two types of material, synthetic and natural. Synthetic materials do a very good protective job, but they tend to remain at the defect area even after the bone has healed, thereby requiring a second surgery for its removal before the implant can be placed. The natural material, on the other hand, tend to dissolve away faster than the bone has healed, thereby requiring multiple surgeries to place new membranes to complete the bone healing process. So in order to overcome this, our research focused on developing membranes whose degradation rate can be controlled. For that, we looked at this material called chitosan that is extracted from the shells of crabs and shrimps and is known to be biocompatible. We used a method called electrospinning for making membranes. In this process, the chitosan solution was subjected to a very high voltage. We drew out the solution into thin fibers and deposited them onto a collector plate. This is how the membrane looks, and this is a microscopic image of our membranes. We wanted to see if these membranes are stable in a water environment, since our mouth is always filled with water. But we saw that the membranes became a gel when they came in contact with water. So to stabilize these membranes, we modified them using some chemicals and came up with two types of modifications, referred as type 1 and type 2 here. And we saw that these modified membranes, when placed in water, were pretty stable even after 2 weeks. And further, when they were left in the water for like 10 weeks, the type 1 modified membranes became a gel, whereas the type 2 membranes were still quite intact. Now that we are able to control the degradation of our membranes, we wanted to see if they can actually promote bone healing. For that, we used a rat model and made a defect in the rat skull. This model was used since the rat skull bone is similar to the human jawbone. In the defect area, our membranes were placed and we let the rats heal for a couple of weeks. After that, the rats were put down and skull of the rat was taken out and analyzed using CT scan to see how much bone was formed. And we compared our modified membranes with a clinically used natural membrane. And these graphs show the amount of bone that was formed at an initial and later time points. And these are some representative images of the CT scan. And we saw that our membranes produced bone as well as the clinically used natural membrane. That means our membranes were doing as good as something which is actually being used in the patients right now in the clinics. So this was pretty exciting. And we wanted to further improve the bone healing capacity of our membranes. For that, we loaded our membranes with a bone stimulating drug called simvastatin and placed them again in a rat model. But in this case, we had two defects on the rat skull. One defect was filled with the drug-loaded membrane, and the other defect was filled with a membrane that did not have the drug. And we saw that a type 1 membrane with the drug was able to stimulate more amount of bone as compared to the other membranes with and without the drug. So this showed that our membranes really had some good bone stimulating property. And other than dental applications, these could also be used for other bone stimulating applications. And though further studies need to be conducted to prove their effectiveness in humans, I would like to believe that our membranes do a pretty good job in healing the teeth faster and bringing back our smiles sooner. Thank you.
Okay,